There's something about being 8 years old that feels like living in a soap opera, but everyone's wearing glittery sneakers and carrying Lisa Frank folders. I didn't know it then, but grade 4 was going to be the emotional equivalent of juggling flaming dodgeballs, with one hand tied behind my back, and someone yelling, "You're not doing it right," from the sidelines. I was 8. Freshly minted from the carefree summer of cartoons and cereal, I waltzed into the new school year thinking, this year, I'm gonna have fun. Sweet summer child. Enter the chaos crew, Sandra, Laura, and Jessica. Sandra was intense. Like, mark your territory, intense. She claimed me like I was some collectible Beanie Baby and she was determined to keep me mint in box. According to her, I was her best friend. Forever. No trades, no takebacks. I didn't remember signing a contract, but apparently she did. Then came Laura, the opposite of Sandra in every way. Bright, loud, quick to laugh, always had lip gloss, even though we weren't technically allowed to wear any. She talked fast, thought faster, and actually made me feel like I could breathe. And finally, Jessica. The wild card. The self-proclaimed rich kid who said she had a mansion with 3 living rooms. She didn't. We checked. It was 1 living room and a suspicious smell. She was older, a whopping 10 years old, and somehow managed to make everything seem like a competition she was already winning. The problem? They were all connected, just not in a way that made sense. Sandra hated Laura. Laura hated Sandra. Laura and Jessica were friends. Sandra and Jessica were also friends. And I was the glue stick holding together a crumbling art project. If that sounds exhausting, congratulations, you're already caught up on my mental state. But back then, I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to disappoint people, even if they were being unhinged. So I said yes to everyone, to every awkward lunch, every playground schedule, every emotional hostage situation dressed up as friendship. We hadn't even reached recess yet. This isn't just a story about childhood drama. This is a survival story. A saga of diplomacy, escape plans, and hallway espionage. It's also kind of funny. Especially now that I've lived through it and no longer need to draw maps to escape people. Grade 4 was a lot. But it's where it all started. Welcome to the drama. Grade 4, the Triangle of Doom. If recess were a battlefield, I was Switzerland, neutral, confused, and constantly under low-key emotional attack. By October, I'd developed a full-blown diplomatic strategy just to survive friendship politics. I had actual time slots scheduled. 5 minutes in the morning with Laura, laughing, gossiping, sometimes dancing for no reason. Then a sharp rotation to Sandra and Jessica. Mostly Sandra glaring and Jessica talking about her latest vacation home, aka her aunt's apartment. Recess? I'd spend it alone by choice, pretending to enjoy the monkey bars. It was safer that way. After lunch? Laura and Jessica again, which, frankly, felt like walking into a live episode of Who's Mad at Who Now? But it wasn't enough. Sandra had this sixth sense, like she knew when I was having too much fun with someone else. One day she cornered me behind the portable classrooms like we were in a mob movie. "Why were you laughing with Laura this morning?" I blinked. "Because she said her cat sneezed into a bowl of cereal?" Sandra narrowed her eyes. "You're my best friend." Like I'd forgotten. Laura and I knew we had to do something. That's when the escape plan was born. We gave Sandra a code name, the Monster. Red crayon, angry eyebrows, claws. We even practiced fake screams. I drew maps of the school, literal floor plans. Laura timed sprint drills. Jessica? She was our decoy. Her main skill was being really, really fast, and Sandra usually chased her first. The most dangerous zone was the classroom. Imagine 40 chairs, 3 sharp corners, and exactly 1 escape route. We turned it into an obstacle course. When Sandra entered from the front, I slipped out the back with Laura pulling me like we were breaking out of jail. Jessica zigzagged between desks like a Mission Impossible montage. In the hallway, we had a trick. jumping every 10 floor tiles to go faster. We looked absolutely unhinged. Two tiny frogs on a sugar rush. But it worked. For 3 whole months. Sandra stayed confused. Jessica got faster. Laura and I laughed every single day. But then the drama escalated. Sandra started passing me notes. Aggressive ones. Written in glitter pen. I saw you with her again. I guess I'm not your BFF anymore. Fine. I'll just sit alone forever. Hope you're happy. It was like getting guilt-tripped by a sparkly ransom letter. One day she even faked a limp at recess and said, I hurt my leg and you weren't there. What was I supposed to do? Bring her juice and cry? Jessica got involved too, loudly accusing Laura of brainwashing me. Honestly, if Laura was brainwashing me, she was doing a great job. Tensions hit their peak during a group project. We had to make a diorama of a rainforest. What we made was an emotional thunderstorm. Laura wanted colorful birds. Jessica brought glitter glue. Sandra refused to touch the glue if Laura was in the room. I sat between them with a plastic tree and existential dread. Eventually, Sandra stormed out and took half the glue sticks with her. Jessica started crying. Laura said, this is why I work alone. Our rainforest had one bird, no trees, and a handwritten sign that read, this is symbolic. Honestly, same. But somehow, even with the emotional roller coaster, those 3 months made me laugh more than I cried. Because in between the passive-aggressive notes, hallway sprints, and weird glue-based meltdowns, I was learning how to stand my ground. Kind of. In a frog-jumping, map-drawing, chaos-navigating kind of way. But wait, it got weirder. Because right in the middle of the glitter glue fallout, Sandra handed me something she called a friendship test. And let me tell you, this thing had the chaotic energy of a BuzzFeed quiz written by someone with a grudge. It was 3 pages long. Multiple choice. Laminated. Questions included. If you had one juice box and Sandra and Laura were both thirsty, who would you give it to? Explain your answer. When was the last time you told Sandra she was pretty? True or false, Sandra is always right. One of the questions literally read, pick a side, Sandra or Laura. Circle only one. No erasing. I stared at it like it was a math test written in ancient Greek. Laura snatched it, read 2 questions, and said, this is emotional blackmail, but with glitter. Sandra insisted I take it seriously. So I did what any overwhelmed, over it, emotionally drained 8-year-old would do. I filled in every answer with maybe. Then drew a potato in the margins and turned it in. Sandra was not amused. She announced she was creating a friendship council to review my loyalty. I said I was going to go play tag. Grade 4, ladies and gentlemen. By the last week of school, everything had sort of dissolved. Sandra had stopped passing notes. Jessica was busy trying to convince people her family owned a yacht. It was a paddle boat. And Laura and I? We just kept laughing, making dumb comics, and avoiding eye contact with the chaos like pros. No big blow-up. No dramatic final scene. Just quiet distance. One afternoon, we all signed each other's yearbooks. Sandra wrote, have a good summer. No glitter, no guilt. And that was it. Grade 4 ended, not with a bang, but with a weirdly peaceful shrug. I left that year with faster reflexes, a deep appreciation for hallway maps, and a best friend who never once made me take a laminated quiz about loyalty. Grade 5 came and went without much fanfare, like an emotional nap between storms. But grade 6? That's when things changed. For real. Grade 6 started off suspiciously quiet, like the calm in a movie right before a T-Rex stomps into frame. Sandra? Gone. Different class, different orbit. She didn't look at me in the hallway, didn't wave, didn't even pass a note accusing me of betrayal. Honestly, it felt like getting released from friendship prison with time served. Jessica had disappeared entirely. Rumor said her family moved because of business opportunities. But someone swore they saw her at the same grocery store 3 blocks from school. Either way, she was out of the picture. That left me and Laura. And it was actually kind of amazing. We were the chillest duo ever. Lunch was a non-stop laugh fest. We created a secret notebook where we rated teachers' handwriting, judged classmates' shoe choices, with love mostly, and made weird little doodles of each other as penguins. It was dumb and perfect. I wasn't dodging glue sticks or running from red crayon monsters anymore. No drama. No escape plans. Just recess, snacks, and friendship. Of course, nothing gold can stay. But for a while, grade 6 felt like exhaling after a year-long panic sprint. And then Jessica reappeared. She popped up at recess one Thursday like a plot twist no one asked for, twirling her hair and saying, "Hey, remember me?" Laura nearly choked on her juice box. I smiled, said hi, and let her sit with us. We were older now. Kinder. More mature. Kind of. Jessica stayed for exactly 4 weeks. Then, in true Jessica fashion, she vanished again, transferring to a different school for gifted kids. Laura and I called it the Witness Protection Program. After that, things went right back to peaceful. We survived math class, invented a code language, 90% giggling, 10% vowels. Even helped decorate the classroom for Halloween with fake spiderwebs and glitter bats. No hallway sprints. No laminated loyalty tests. Grade 6 was the kind of peace you don't question. You just enjoy it while it lasts. Because middle school? That was waiting around the corner, lip gloss, drama, and all. Grade 7, drama reloaded. Middle school didn't just arrive, it slammed into us like a glitter-scented hurricane. Suddenly, everyone had phones. Actual functioning phones. People were filming dances in the hallway and arguing about who had the best shampoo. Spoiler, it wasn't me. I was still using the same bottle from grade 5 that smelled like strawberries in regret. Laura? She leveled up. She joined the cool girl squad, you know the type. Matching scrunchies and side jokes, group chats named something like Slay Queens Forever. She didn't ditch me completely. But she wasn't the same. I'd wave across the cafeteria and she'd smile but not come over. Our jokes didn't land like before. She made TikTok references I didn't get. I made penguin doodles she didn't laugh at. I wasn't her main anymore. So I floated. A free agent in the middle school friendship market. That's when I met G. Quiet. Artsy. Always sketching something in the margins of her notebook. Trees, stars, characters from books I actually read. G didn't wear lip gloss or own a phone. She had opinions on crayons and soft pretzels. Basically, she was my people. Laura didn't like her. Obviously. But for the first time I didn't care. G and I sat together in class. Passed doodles instead of notes. Bonded over weird stationery and books with dragons. It wasn't loud or flashy. It just fit. And then came the scandal. Laura's new group prank called a teacher. Not just any teacher, the vice principal's sister. They got caught. Hard. Tears. Detention. Group chat implosion. People turning on each other faster than you could say. I didn't even know we were calling her. I sat next to Laura that day while she cried in the nurse's office. G sat on the other side, quietly offering her a purple jelly bean. I was there for her. But deep down I knew. We weren't always anymore. Still friends. But not forever ones. And for the first time, that didn't feel like losing. It felt like growing up. But grade 7 wasn't done with me yet. See, right after the prank call drama, the school decided to do this weird social experiment called group projects in random pairs. Spoiler, it was chaos disguised as teamwork. I got paired with Madison, a girl who brought hot sauce in her lunchbox and once declared she was allergic to pencils. We were supposed to make a presentation on ancient civilizations. Madison wanted to reenact a gladiator battle. I wanted to survive the semester. Meanwhile, G was paired with Tyler, quiet, shy, math club Tyler, and Laura got stuck with a girl who only answered questions by blinking. Hard times. That project week was a fever dream. Madison tried to sneak a rubber chicken into our presentation for comedic effect, and I ended up doing the entire research part while she made toga costumes out of pillowcases. On presentation day, she tripped on her toga and flung her water bottle into the principal's shoes. We got a C+ and a lot of side-eye. But somehow the chaos bonded everyone. Even Laura and I found ourselves laughing again, quietly, cautiously. Not how it used to be, but enough to feel like maybe we still had a piece of that old friendship left. It was weird. Everyone was shifting. Identities melting, reshaping. The hallway looked the same, but we didn't walk through it like we used to. We were all figuring out how to be people. Grade 7 didn't break me. It just made me weirdly stronger. And way better at dodging flying water bottles. Grade 8 didn't arrive with fireworks or theme music. It just quietly stepped into my life, like, hey, you ready to level up? And honestly, I kind of was. Gone were the cartoon socks, okay. Not completely gone, but they only made cameos now. I had real shoes. A new backpack that didn't have glitter glue stains. And for the first time ever I felt fine being on my own. Laura and I still talked, but it was hallway waves and birthday messages now. Nothing deep. Nothing dramatic. We'd become those people who used to be everything to each other but were now just warm memories in passing. G and I were still tight. She introduced me to watercolor painting. I introduced her to the magic of microwavable pretzels. We were an artsy little duo with inside jokes and zero tolerance for fake people. So when tryouts for the school play were announced, I did something unthinkable. I signed up. Me. The same person who used to hide behind Laura in group projects. Who literally sprinted through hallways in grade 4 to avoid confrontation. I auditioned for a part with a witch monologue, complete with cackling, arm flailing, and a broom I borrowed from the janitor's closet. And I got it. Opening night was terrifying. The lights were blinding. My costume was itchy. Someone backstage spilled juice on my script. But I stood on that stage, lifted my wand, and absolutely unleashed chaos. I cackled. I screamed. I warned the imaginary villagers they'd regret crossing me. The crowd laughed, cheered, clapped. And in that moment, I wasn't anyone's sidekick. I wasn't running or hiding or trying to fit into some weird triangle. I was just me. Owning the moment. Owning my moment. After the play, Laura came up to me. Said you were amazing. I believed her. Even Sandra, who I hadn't seen in almost a year, sent me a message on social media. You were scary good. Also, sorry for the monster stuff. LOL. Jessica never reached out. Which honestly, iconic of her. Grade 8 ended on a high. Not because it was perfect, it wasn't. But because I finally stopped trying to survive school like it was a maze of emotional booby traps. I walked through those hallways with no plan, no map, no crayon-coded escape route. Just me. And that was enough.